everyone. This is Cece Heinen from the Minnesota Daily, and you are listening to In the Know, a podcast dedicated to the University of Minnesota. And I'm here today with Grace Agner.
Hi.
Hi, Grace.
Hi.
We wanted to just sit and talk about everything that's been going on this semester. It's been a busy semester at the University of Minnesota. There's been a lot going on in Minneapolis, in the country at large, in the culture and pop culture and sports. We're going to touch on it all. It's going to be
deep and abundant.
It's going to be deep and abundant. It will be, in fact. So yeah, buckle up, get ready, and we're going to kick things off right here in Minneapolis. Grace, tell me a little bit about the top story that's been kind of happening in November mainly was the race between Omar Fateh and Jacob Frey. Tell me a bit about that.
So November 4th was Minneapolis's municipal elections, mayor, city council offices, parks and recreation offices. And the most kind of heated race was between the incumbent Jacob Frey and Omar Fateh, who is a state senator, yes. Both running for mayor of Minneapolis. Fateh had a good campaign. It was definitely not a blowout by any means. Jacob Frey won again. I definitely, understandably, I think Fateh voters and supporters were surprised. I think Fateh had a great campaign. But in retrospect, doing a little bit of research, I do think Fateh voters, which were largely relating to the university students, a lot of students, if they voted for him, were seemingly kind of underestimated the support for Frey across Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And I think specifically the support that exists for him among Somali residents, which is was surprising to me to learn because Omar Fateh is Somalian. And the Somali vote was a very sought-after vote this election. Frey has a long and close connection with the Somali community. As it turns out, I think his connection and the people who have long supported him pushed him to the win again. And not that that's the only piece of it. There are more people in Minneapolis than students and people in the Somali community and people who were voting for Fateh. There are a lot of people here. And
I think a lot of people forgot too about kind of the suburby areas that are right outside the city.
Yeah.
Which were largely for Frey.
For Frey, yeah.
And
so Frey is the mayor once again.
For his third term.
Yeah, which is rare. I mean, because Governor Tim Walz also announced a third term as governor. And people were saying third terms are rare for kind of state level and citywide positions. Usually you go for 2. Frey's already been here for 8 years, I believe.
Wow.
So ready for another 4. That happened. And Minneapolis does ranked choice voting, which means you can basically write your top 3 choices for candidates. The most popular ballot ranking, though, was Jacob Frey and nobody else.
Oh, wow.
Which is very interesting. There was definitely a very big split between people who were voting for Fateh and people who were voting for Frey. If you had Frey on your ballot, odds are you did not have Omar anywhere on your ballot and vice versa. But I just think
that's so interesting.
I think that's funny. And then the second most popular one was kind of the Fateh ticket, which was Fateh first, Dwayne Davis or Jazz Hampton second and third. Something fun, though, is that the city did break voter turnout record for city elections for 55% of registered voters. Doesn't sound like a lot, but municipal elections generally way lower turnout than national elections. Minnesota has really high turnout for national elections, but among the people who turned out, students, in my personal opinion, were not one of them. But that happened.
Frey's still our mayor.
Yep. Another 4.
Another 4. Probably we'll get another 4 with Walz as well. I don't know who is going to beat him, to be totally honest.
Rumblings on that are quiet. Streets are quiet in terms of the
I don't think anyone
elections.
Really I mean, that's not happening again until next year. I think his campaign will ramp up in probably spring.
Yeah.
But at this
it is
point,
a big
it's
deal, but
Tim Walz is Minnesota. Minnesota is Tim Walz.
Yes. Yes. He's dad.
Yeah, he is. But in other news, ICE has been really active in this city. I'm sorry, that was a really
crazy
harsh
switch
transition. But
yeah,
serious.
They're here.
They're here. Basically, President Trump is attacking the Somali community in Minneapolis. He called Somalis garbage, basically told them all that they need to go back to where they came from, which is wild because it's just wild. And basically that has sparked a lot of ICE activity in Somali communities, Cedar Riverside being one of the main ones, which is right on campus here. I know a lot of people who live near there or who live there, so It's definitely been jarring. There have
Mhm.
been ICE raids at Augsburg University, which is right near here. And then also, literally yesterday, we're recording this on December 11th. On December 10th, a young Somali man was wrongfully arrested by ICE, even though he's 20. He was 20. He offered to show his passport, but he was still put in a headlock and put into a vehicle, and
I believe it was released
he was released, yes. he
hours
was.
later, but
But still, I'm also in global studies, and we've talked about this a lot in my
Mhm.
classes, and it just makes me sad because
Mhm.
there's like a lot of Somali residents who have found Minnesota as a sanctuary, as a place that
Yeah.
accepts them, as a place that they can actually feel safe
Mhm.
because their home country is not a safe place for them to live.
Mhm.
They're starting to feel like they're in danger again and having to bring their passports with them everywhere they go, even though they're US citizens.
Right.
And
Born and raised. Many of
many born and raised, literally. I mean, like, or have
We have
been here
met-
for decades. But anyways, Trump also has stated that he wants to end the protected status for Somalians in Minnesota. Walls, Frey, all of our legislators have strongly opposed that. He's personally attacked Ilhan Omar many times, which I find absolutely disgusting because she is an amazing woman. But all I can say about that is everyone know your right. Have a plan for if you interact with ICE in any way. Unfortunately, be documented. Bring your passport with you. Have your ID on you at all times.
just tidbit. Many already know, but some of my professors have mentioned this. But if, God forbid, ICE shows up at a residence, in a classroom, at a
Yeah.
business, they cannot enter. You
Mhm.
can refuse them. Like, the only reason they are allowed to enter is if they have a judicial warrant, which means paperwork they should have that is signed by a judge to come
Mhm.
inside to wherever for whatever reason. Most of the time, they don't have that.
Mhm.
Like, most of the time. And so know that and know you have a right, absolutely, to say no.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Because it is illegal. They cannot come into like classrooms here, residences without.
Yeah. They aren't
that
allowed
piece.
on the
No.
university campus. I don't.
No, they're not.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to offer words of like, we got this,
Yeah.
because it's just really depressing.
Yeah.
But protect your friends and family and reach out to them and make sure everyone's okay. And
It's terrifying.
it is. But we're going to move on. We're moving on to UMN campus
Yay.
chat. UMN campus chat.
Things that happened
Things that have
on
been
this
happening.
campus this
This
semester.
We've
Yeah.
had quite the bit of gun violence.
Yeah. There were a couple of two major, I guess I'll call them major shootings near campus, not on campus, nearly on campus. Well, the first one was on August 31st, not the academic year, but most students were back on campus and ready to start the year. A man was shot and injured another man at Waterwave TV, which is on Como Avenue. Waterwave is a secondhand clothing store. And, it was a summer evening and there were people at Blue Door, which is a pub next door, who heard and saw kind of the aftermath of the shooting inside. The victim is fine. As far as I know from reporting, the shooter was an 18-year-old man/boy, and as it seems to have been an isolated event, but there were other patrons in Waterwave when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
The shooter has been charged with attempted second-degree murder and 3 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. And I believe the victim was also a teenager. On Halloween this year, I'm sure most listening know about this, early in the morning at about 2:40, 2:30 on November 1st, a shooter shot 3 people near the venue apartments, kind of at the Frank and Andreas, like the corner of 13th and 5th. One of those injured was a University of Minnesota student. He is all right. He is recovering. One teenager died tragically. The third of the 3 victims also went to the hospital and, as far as I know, is recovering. This really shocked and frightened people around here, I think. It was Halloween night,
Yeah.
so
Everyone was out.
everyone was out. Everyone
Yeah.
was out. This was, people are out that late most Fridays around here, but like
Yeah.
Fridays to Saturday mornings around here, but
It was
packed.
bumping. It was bumping.
Yeah. Neither of these shootings are like on the outskirts of kind of the university area at
No,
all. Like,
it's
students are
right
here
there.
all the time.
It's evident based on the fact that a U of M student.
Yes,
is
yeah, and to be clear, to me, I've gathered that it seems to have been an isolated incident between the shooter and two non-student victims.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the student, it seems, was at truly the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. But I mean,
It doesn't happen often, but it seems to happen too often for the area.
any shooting is like,
Mhm.
what are we doing? But anyways, in news of people trying to stop this violence, another thing that has been transpiring in the city is the birth of our first Minneapolis-born superhero named No Mark. I'm not totally sure what he's actually done. I know that he has apparently, quote unquote, stopped the Minnesota pisser,
Right.
which, big crime.
Which
Biggest problem we're facing. But honestly though, he has a big following on social media. And
Yeah.
I checked out his TikTok the other day just to see if because I haven't heard much about him
Right.
recently. And he's still like he's calling out ICE and he's kind of, calling out administration and blah blah blah.
the university
and
administration, or
yeah,
okay.
he did make a video about the death of a university student that was
Mm-hmm.
apparently covered up by the university. I personally don't know much about that, so I don't feel confident speaking on it, but he still is operating. He's still, doing something.
Does he have a costume?
He just wears all black and he wears a mask.
So in July, the University of Minnesota Board of Regents, which is essentially just kind of the decision-making board entity at the
Yeah.
university, they finalized and released their budget for the next year, which includes talking about tuition. And our tuition is going up, everyone. Minnesota residents, and those I also believe with reciprocity here. So Minnesota residents will see, / those with reciprocity will see about a 4 to 6.5% increase, which is between $745 to $1,210. Non-residents will see a higher increase. So this means people like me from Illinois or other states, or I believe international students that would
Yeah.
just fall under that as well, will see a 7.5% increase, which is about, drumroll please, $3,113 based on my calculations. And it affects, even for people who aren't taking out loans, it affects how much money they're paying for school, obviously.
yeah.
But for students who are paying for their own education, this makes a difference, makes a big
Mhm.
difference. So
You're
the tuition increase comes with also about more than $350 million cut from the university budget, across the board, which means impacting college resources. So
Mhm.
CLA, CSE, things like
All of
that.
them, yeah.
All of them, and then campus resources and things like that. And then fun thing that also happened, we got a $200 athletics fee without our consent
To pay them
to pay them.
for NIL.
Is that what that is? That's so that
That's
the
what it
athletes
is.
get paid?
Yes.
Why are we paying that?
We're basically paying
I
the
already
football
pay
team.
for my tickets.
We're basically paying the football team right now. We're going to widen our scope again, away from U of M campus, away from Minneapolis. A lot has been going on this semester.
Zohran Mamdani is the new mayor of New York City. This, big news. This is wild. He won New York's mayoral election with about 50.4% of the vote. That is a 9 percentage point lead over his opponent, incumbent Democrat Andrew Cuomo. It's crazy because he was polling at around 2% when he announced his campaign, which
Yeah.
I think was about a year ago. I'm not sure on that.
It was quick.
That's
yeah.
fast. 2% to winning the election is wild.
Someone, they're going to study his campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Side classes.
The Gen Z vote, first of all, was deeply essential. He ran one of the most effective social media and grassroots campaigns that I've seen in the last 5 years of the whole mess that is national politics. 75% of the youth vote went to Mamdani, and in New York there was a record high young people turnout of about 28%. It sounds low, but in 2013 the turnout of young people was 8%. That was a long time ago, but it didn't. This is a dramatic change.
Mhm.
And I personally would attribute that turnout to wanting to vote for Zohran Mamdani. And that honestly is largely due to, I think, a lot of the work that his social media team and his grassroots approach to campaigning really resonated with young people and not young people. Like, it is not unique to young people. He won with a lot of age groups and races and ethnic, like, it's a lot of people. A lot of people voted for him. He did man on the street interviews. He participated in TikTok trends. He had, I think, what was clearly a Gen Z social media team.
He like biked to his debate.
Yes.
I loved that.
Love it.
I loved that.
So I listened to an interview he did with, I believe it was Michael Barbaro with the New York Times. I'm Michael Barbaro. And this is the Daily.
Here's what else you need to know.
know.
Yeah. I love that man. He was on my Spotify Wrapped.
Michael Barbaro was on your spot. What? Okay. That's, wow. I'm going to move past that.
Sorry.
But I listened to that interview because, like, I kind of realized, I'm like, you know what? This guy seems like he's, doing something. Like, he's got things on the burners.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know a ton at the time. And I listened to it, and he talked about how when he would walk around on the street, people would shout at him, cheaper groceries, free buses, which were two of his main campaign platform pieces, which, like, very, very cool to see from my perspective, because most of the time, like, the slogans that politicians have are empty and motivational. They're very vague. They're very kind of nothing. Like, Obama's was yes, we can. Trump's was make America great again, is make America great again. Biden's was build back better. And, like, Mamdani's were different. Like, you have...
Those were, like, tangible things.
Yes. Cheaper groceries and free buses. And that, to me, is different. At least in my lifetime. I'm not going to say I'm the expert on all of this. But, and I think that was really... I was talking about this with my mom, too. I think that was really effective for getting people to understand him and what he wanted to do for the city and appeal to people. He won. I can't say I expected him to win. I'm fairly pessimistic.
I did.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
I opt for pessimism pretty much always. Like, I wasn't surprised when he won either. You know what I mean? And I'm deeply impressed. Zoran was joined by Democrats in previously Republican-governed states who won elections. Abigail Spanberger won in Virginia, and Mikey Sherrill won in New Jersey. Neither one of those states have been trademark blue, and they also won elections this year. The Congress signed a bill to release the Epstein files, and Trump signed the bill. This was about November 19th. This was a very rare moment of bipartisanship. The House voted 427-1 in favor of the Justice Department releasing the files on Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know the exact Senate vote, but they very quickly did the same, and then Trump signed the bill. Jeffrey Epstein, for those who don't know, was an extremely wealthy financier who socialized with very, very powerful people in the government and in pop culture. He hung himself in his jail cell when he was arrested for many, many horrendous crimes, such as being a pedophilic sex trafficker.
Yeah.
He had a massive, complex ring of bringing young girls and young women to parties to socialize with a list of famous people who are listed in the Epstein files. And that's why there is such a public outcry for releasing them, because they include people like Donald Trump. Epstein and Trump are good pals. Were good pals.
He denies it, though.
He wrote him a nice birthday card, though. We saw that. There's a statue that was put up in D.C. that is a statue of Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump holding hands and kicking one of their feet up.
Yeah, that's silly.
And the plaque is like something like good friend, celebrating friendship, best friends. The National Park Service had to approve a permit for the group that put that statue. Real? Yes. I don't know how much, but I just really enjoy that.
That's silly. I did not know that.
That's been up and down in different places in Washington, D.C. these days.
True. So the release of the files was happening right when the government shutdown was also kind of in its full swing. And so a lot of people on both sides were kind of like, why are we using the Epstein files to, like, distract from, whatever. But government shutdown was a big thing this semester. It was 43 total days, which makes it the longest government shutdown in history. It impacted basically every facet of life, I would say. Grace did a great story about how it impacted SNAP. And then Lucas Vasquez also did a story about how it's impacting just, like, general life, like airfare and research and stuff like that, and jobs too, federal jobs. And I think one of the biggest takeaways from it was just, like, politicians can really play with us. Like, they can really mess. Like, I feel like a lot of times people are like, oh, like the Hill and Senate and Congress, like, oh, they're way over there and they don't really impact me.
No, they're in your house.
No, they're there. They're, like, at your back door.
They're in your walls.
Literally. They can pull the plug on, like, your life so quick. Your food, your travel, your job, your money, your government funds, anything like that, they can pull it. And so I think that's something to really keep in mind, especially as we come into midterms this next year. Do not forget about this shutdown. It's important to remember it and let it inform your votes when next year comes. Sports. We're going to rip through sports.
Yeah.
Okay? Because we have a sports podcast. It's called The Gold Standard.
You should
and
listen
if you
to
don't
it.
listen to it, what's wrong?
I'm never on it. And you're going to realize why when CC talks for about 10 more minutes.
I'm about to talk all the sports. Grace is about to sit here and nod and smile. This semester, I think one of the biggest things in Minnesota sports was the Lynx. They unfortunately lost to the Mercury in the WNBA semifinals. Heartbreaking. Nafisa Collier was injured in the last game and Cheryl Reeve was kicked out. And the Aces went on to win it. But one of the biggest stories in the WNBA this season was the rise of the Studbuds, which are two Minnesota Lynx players, Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidemann, who arguably became the faces of the league. They did a 72-hour-long Twitch stream during WNBA All-Star Weekend, which was absolutely hilarious. They were recording people like Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, all of these stars like ripping it out on the dance floor, like drunk. They are awesome.
What
and they're
pink hair, no?
They both do.
They both have pink hair. And that's the wig.
Yep.
Okay, I'm tapped in.
But they are awesome. And also, like, on a real note, they're really revolutionizing, like, how queer women are viewed in the WNBA and, like, how we are at a place now where we should be allowing queer women to be themselves.
Lit.
And I think it's made a huge, like, kind of just really opened the doors for the future of queer women in the WNBA because in the past, people like legends like Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi were kind of told, like, hey, the only way that you're going to be able to sell yourself as a player is if you are like
Hot?
girly, sexy, appeal to the male view, and are like straight cis.
Mhm.
Both of them are gay.
Or like acting straight
Yeah.
cis.
People like Courtney and Natisha have really like widened
That's lit.
the
So cool.
kind of like lens of like what it means to be queer in the WNBA. So I love it. But moving on to Gopher sports, we've had like a mid.
We've had worse.
Sports. We've had worse, but Gopher football just got announced that they are going to the Rate Bowl in Phoenix. They're going to be playing New Mexico, which will be interesting. They finished the season 5-4 in conference and 7-5 overall, and they were 7-0 at home and 0-5 away. So clearly we have an issue with away games.
Make it make sense. PJ.
Yeah. Gophers men's hockey is meh. They're doing fine. Gophers women's hockey is eating it. They're eating it up. They're doing so good. Their men's and women's basketball. Women's basketball is more made up of veterans, such as Amaya Battle, who, big story for her, is she joined the 1,000 points and 500 assists club, which
Sick.
is insane because not many people have gotten that far.
Yeah.
Men's team is a lot of young people and a lot of transfers. They have a new coach, and so far they're doing okay. They just beat Indiana, which was a ranked win, which was really big. But again, go listen to the Gold Standard for more detail on all of this. The dance team hopefully will be going back to nationals this year, going to defend their title. They're amazing. Team that is they're looking pretty good so far is the Timberwolves. Ant is averaging about 28.6 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, 3.8 assists with a 50% field goal average, which is pretty good. The team itself is 15-9 right now. They're 6th in the Western Conference. Julius and Nas are playing all right. I don't know. It just like we need to continue to beat teams in the West that are ranked higher than us if we want to climb at all. But playoffs aren't for a while. Also, another team this semester that's been doing well is the Loons. They lost the conference semifinals for MLS against San Diego FC. And the World Cup is this summer, and some of the Loons players will be attempting to make their national teams, such as Dane St. Clair for Canada, Robin Ludd for Finland, Joseph Rosales, Honduras, Michael Boxall for New Zealand, Carlos Harvey for Panama, and Momo Kamara for Sierra Leone. Yeah, so it'll be really fun to see if any of those Minnesota United players end up playing in the World Cup this summer. Make this Bears section quick.
Okay, everyone, I'm coming out right now. I am a Chicago Bears fan. Knock it off. You told me I could do this. Let me speak.
I'm sorry. Okay, sorry.
God. They are 9-4 right now. They lost to the Packers on Sunday, which they play them again in 2 weeks. Not butthurt about that. started 0-2, but then all of a sudden went 5-0 in one-score games all November, and two people, as my brother likes to say, wonderful Caleb and beautiful Ben Johnson. My brother, I consulted him and my father to talk about this. Two main criticisms of the Bears I want to address. One is that Caleb Williams is not all that. Two is that Ben Johnson isn't the real deal. Williams is whatever, pass completion percentage is 57%. It would be nice if it was 60 or more or whatever. And people say that's low. Streets are saying it's bad. He's not that good. But the key thing to know about that is that he's not throwing interceptions or fumbling. He's avoiding turnovers and throws in completions to avoid negative plays, which, in my opinion, is a better alternative to that. And Ben Johnson, he turned one of the bottom 5 offenses in the country to like one of the best scoring. There has been a significant change this season, and he's definitely like changed the culture, I think. I don't care if you hate this team or you're indifferent to this team. I think it's undeniable that there is real positive change that's happening in that locker room, and it's showing on the field. And I think that deserves a little bit of respect.
Well, now it's time to finally get to our favorite, most anticipated section, which is pop culture.
Yay!
I'm so excited. Go. Okay, guys, this is going to be quick. We're going to make this quick, all right? Wicked Part 2. It's out. Wicked for good, but it's not as good. A lot of people aren't liking it as much as they liked the first one, although there are already a lot of nominations for it. Ariana Grande, my queen, got Best Supporting Actress nominated at the Golden Globes, as well as Cynthia Erivo for Best Actress. Also, Ariana Grande was the only one to get a Supporting Actress nomination at the Critics' Choice Awards, which was really interesting because a lot of people were like, why wouldn't they nominate Cynthia too? But regardless, I still think the movie was good. Don't think it was as good as the first one. Vanity Fair male actors issue.
This is just something silly. So Vanity Fair released their 2026 Hollywood issue, and it's called Let's Hear It for the Boys. And it's male actors. So Paul Mescal, Michael B. Jordan, Glenn Powell. It sounds stupid, and some we're kind of like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. But I read what the writers and editors said about it, and just they were talking about how the idea of the male actor has changed over time. Hollywood's golden age, they were untouchable idols, in the 40s, 50s. And now they're evaluated on perceived realness and approachability. And I think that's really interesting and honestly cool. I think it says a lot that we're evaluating the men we make famous based on if we think they seem like cool guys.
And good people.
Right. And normal.
Women have always been evaluated like that.
Yes, exactly.
Women have never been untouchable.
And I think, especially when we have celebrity media that is centered around achieving authenticity. Hot Ones, What's in My Bag, various podcasts. Glenn Powell's on Past That Therapist or whatever.
I love it.
I think male actors have to pass a test now. And I like that.
And they should.
And Vanity Fair made an issue about that.
But in other news, Leslie Odom Jr. is back. Literally, father has come home. That's how I feel about this, because he has returned. Leslie Odom Jr. returned on November 26th to the cast of Hamilton as the OG Aaron Burr.
Thank you, God.
Literally, wait for it. We waited for it and we got it. He delivered. Wait for it. Anyways, but so I think another thing that's happening right now is the skinny/Ozempic epidemic. And something kind of administrative with this is on November 6th, the Trump administration announced a major deal with Novo Nordisk, who created Ozempic and Wegovy, and Eli Lilly, who have Mounjaro and Zepbound, to dramatically lower prices for GLP-1 weight loss drugs, meaning that a lot more people are going to be able to get GLP-1s more easily, and they aren't necessarily going to be saved for people who are have diabetes or whatever. I think that's going to be interesting because, I know a lot of people, in Hollywood right now are everyone's so skinny. And it's well, what if, I'm kind of scared that that's going to become, the new normal now that everyone's,
we're going back to the 90s and, early 2000s.
And everyone's just going to be, stick tiny. But anyways, whatever. That's just something happening. And then Love Island was also a really big thing this semester, kind of earlier on. Kenny and Janae from last year's season broke up because, drumroll, guys, he's racist.
Is he?
Deeply.
I've never seen it, and I don't know him.
Deeply racist. The entire cast of Love Island, her season, rallied around her, and Kenny, he's never going anywhere. That was crazy. And then also this season of Love Island was just a whirlwind of just craziness, honestly. Huda, Olandria, Shelley, like, oh my God. It was just like, honestly, a hard watch, but like a must watch. And now that they're out of the villa, Huda is dating Louis. He was on Too Hot to Handle, but there's been like just a ton of stuff still happening with like Huda and Olandria, and like Olandria and Nick are still together, which is like, yay, but also like a lot of people thought their relationship was fake. I don't know. It's just, that whole thing is just so much. And honestly, sometimes I'm like, why did I even watch this show? But another show that was beautiful and wonderful this season was Dancing with the Stars, in which Robert Irwin and Whitney Carson won the Mirror Ball. Yippee for them.
Hooray.
I was rooting for Alex Earl, but it's okay. And I'm excited to see what celebrities they bring on next season. I feel like they just keep like stepping up their game low key with the celebrities. And so
Addison Rae has rebranded herself. She released an album in like April or something, self-titled Debut Addison. Washington Post called it one of the best albums of the year from their music critics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I don't know how much weight that has, but it shows that major news outlets are paying attention to her. I really like it. Her sound is cool. She's serving cool. When she shows up on a red carpet these days, she looks cool and interesting. I really like the album.
Yeah.
And she's writing those lyrics according to the credentials, like with help, which I think is cool. I can't verify that for sure. But she's broken from the chains of being an annoying teenage TikTok influencer and having a little bit of interest and personality to her. And I'm happy to see it. Leble Magalendal, Noah Santos III, Sedalin Cinco,
Egeto Maderazo.
Amazing video. That was
If you haven't seen that, I'm literally linking it in the transcript. I don't even care.
It's like a Netflix produced video with like a Filipino host.
Yeah, and I absolutely adore it.
I love it. It's so
Oh my
good.
God. But anyway, Stranger Things season 5. It is so good. But I'm so scared. You don't even realize
I don't care if no one dies. I'm ending up in tears. At the end of the show.
For sure.
We
no
were
doubt.
12, and you are 21 and I am now 20.
I know, it's crazy. And we're like the same age as like these actors too. Like they've like grown up with us.
Yes. They all look great. They look great. Sadie Sink, hello. Gorgeous. Erica? The actress who plays Erica? I don't know her name and I'm blanking on it.
She's beautiful.
Too. Oh
and
my
she's
God.
iconic in the show.
One last comment about looks.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Keery is the only man. He is the singular man to exist, period. His music also
eats.
Eats.
Okay, we should move on. Okay, we're doing this really, really rapid fire. Do you want to just go every other?
Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter's tour is over, short and sweet. What will she do next?
Dua Lipa also finished her tour in Mexico City. Who knows what's coming up? We don't know.
Taylor Swift dropped a new album, Life of a Showgirl. It was mid.
Yep. The lyrics were bad.
Yeah, and it's a bummer because I like her music for the lyrics, and I'm bummed.
Yep.
So that's it.
Megan Thee Stallion's dating Klay Thompson, and I think they're so cute together, and Klay drops like hella points whenever Megan is there. So it's really
Period.
Cute. Yeah. Ariana Grande's going on tour, and it is an all-out bloody war in those Ticketmaster queues. I joined 5 of them. I came up empty-handed.
Tom Holland and Zendaya are engaged, and love is real.
I love them.
Amy Poehler, her podcast Good Hang is so good, and it's doing so well.
Yeah, I love her.
I love this woman. She raised me.
She's so charismatic.
She's so funny. She's so smart. She asks the greatest questions, and as a journalist, I like study the way I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I do too.
She's amazing.
DoorDash girl. What the hell was that?
You went into the house.
He was naked and you sued him for being naked in his own home.
You walked in.
Girl. Anyways.
Purnell! There's a dog. There's a white crusty dog on Instagram named Purnell. I feel so bad for the woman who owns this dog because that dog does not let her breathe. She's yelling, Purnell!
Sydney Sweeney. She's had a lot of controversies. Her movies are flopping. She might be, she was Mar-a-Lago'd. Yes. Jeans versus jeans. I don't know. She doesn't
seem
what
we're
to
talking
know
about.
either.
Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. I don't know if this is a PR stunt.
No,
if
it's not. I think they're in love.
Okay. They started dating April 2023. Their first public appearance was not for like 5 more months in September after that. They mostly just go to Knicks games. Yeah. They wear matching outfits. I wonder if he's Stormy's stepdad. Stormy, baby.
Okay, rapid fire phrases. We're hitting some of the phrases that have been really good this semester.
That unfortunately.
Good, quote unquote. We aren't saying that we
They're not
endorse
good.
them.
No,
they aren't good.
They aren't good. They're horrible, but do I say them? Yeah.
Do you want to start?
No.
I don't either. I don't want to say it.
You know which one we're skipping. You know which one it is.
Yeah, it has to do with numbers, and we aren't saying it.
I can't bring myself to do it.
Me neither.
But do I say it on the reg? Sometimes.
Same.
It's funny.
Okay.
Flow state.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa.
Jeffree Star.
I love that video.
Chopped is a new way to call someone ugly.
Love it.
You're looking chopped.
There's some combinations of between chopped and unk, calling someone old, called
Yeah.
chunk, chopped and old, ugly and old, and chuz, chopped huz. I love those Sora videos of cats like blowing up houses on Ring cameras
Yeah. Using AI for good.
and babies running out of hospitals.
Yeah.
And they've got that big Sora watermark, so you know.
Oh,
it's fake.
yeah.
It's not clocking to you.
You don't get that I'm standing on business.
What's
Justin
wrong
Bieber
with
King.
him?
I don't know. He's
Okay.
got issues.
Yeah. Rusted orange, corroded orange. Does I read milk? Does choo 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 suck the caramel out.
Basically, Timothy Chalamet is just one of the funniest, randomest people ever. Okay, guys,
That's
we've
it.
reached the end. Okay, we're wrapping up with some highlights from the pod desk. Basically, we've had a great semester. I think we've put out some
we
really good stories. Grace has put out some great stories
Thank you.
on birth control, male birth control. Go
You're-
listen to those. One about how architecture students' budgets are being cut and how it's impacting them when their major is already literally terrible.
Yeah.
One
Terrible as in
about-
difficult. They
one
love
about social media, one about SNAP benefits.
it. I did one about Halloween,
one about Halloween
for a little bit of fun.
That one was fun, a little more lighthearted.
Yeah.
And then Lucas Vasquez has also put out a couple good stories on the government shutdown and what it's like not being white at a PWI. Super interesting stories. And Atticus Mars has also been doing great on the gold
Mhm.
standard. Go listen to that again if you want more on University of Minnesota sports. Yeah, it's been a good semester on the pod desk.
I love the podcast desk.
I'm
And
so
the
glad.
podcast desk loves all of you.
We love you guys. We love our listeners.
Also, voice reveal. This is
Real
not-
voice reveal, not our podcast
This is not how I
voices.
sound when I record an episode.
Yeah, well, I'm going to turn it on for our outro really quick.
Go for it.
Ready? That's all we have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening. We really enjoyed recording this episode for you and hope you enjoyed listening. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to podcasting@mndaily.com. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you again for listening.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great end of the semester.
We love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
This has been In the Know.